Is this really the end for Zoleka and Lazarus? Because after what just happened on Inimba, I don't think this marriage survives the week. If you have not watched yet, stop scrolling, because today we are breaking down everything that went down, why it went down, and what it means for the Mbandla family going forward. Grab your tea, because this one is heavy. So let's set the scene properly before we get into the chaos, because context matters here. For weeks now we have watched Zethu drowning in new motherhood, completely overwhelmed, isolated, and honestly not getting the support she needed from the people around her. We saw it building at Hlathi's house, we saw the jealousy eating away at Lazarus, and we saw Zoleka being pulled in every direction trying to hold her family and her marriage together at the same time. And now, on this latest episode, all of that pressure finally exploded, and it exploded in the worst possible way. One reckless decision, one moment of desperation, and suddenly a newborn baby is in real danger. That is the kind of storyline that makes you sit up straight on your couch, because Inimba does not play when it comes to raising the stakes. Let's talk about Zethu first, because honestly, my heart breaks for this character even when I am frustrated with her choices. Motherhood has clearly become something she cannot carry alone, and instead of getting the wraparound support a new mother in her position needs, she has been left to spiral. We have seen the signs for episodes now, the sleeplessness, the panic, the way she flinches every time someone questions her ability to cope. And here is the thing about postpartum struggles, they do not look the same for everyone, and they definitely do not always look like what people expect. Some viewers online have been quick to just label her a bad mother, but I think the show is doing something more nuanced than that. It is showing us how quickly a person can unravel when nobody around them is paying close enough attention, or when the people who are paying attention are more interested in being right than being helpful. And that brings me to Thumika, because this woman has opinions and she is not shy about sharing them. I know a lot of you in the comments have gone back and forth on whether Thumika is the villain of this story or the only person actually speaking the truth. Here is my take: she is both, and that is what makes her such a good character. Yes, she can be harsh, yes, she pushes in ways that feel cruel sometimes, but there is also something uncomfortably real about her instinct that Zethu might not be in a position to safely parent right now without serious intervention. The problem is not that Thumika is wrong about there being a crisis, the problem is how she chooses to handle it, swooping in with judgment instead of support, treating this like a battle to win rather than a family to heal. Now let's get into the actual incident, because this is what everybody is talking about today. Without spelling out every single detail, because you really should watch it for yourself if you have not already, what we can say is that a single reckless decision puts the baby directly in harm's way. It is the kind of moment the show has clearly been building toward for a while, all those small warning signs finally colliding into one genuinely frightening sequence. And what I appreciate is that the show does not let anyone off the hook easily. It is not simply painted as one person's fault. Everyone around Zethu, from Lazarus to Zoleka to Thumika to the rest of the family, has had a hand in either escalating the tension or failing to step in early enough. That is what good family drama does, it refuses to give you a single villain to blame so that you actually have to sit with the discomfort of shared responsibility. Enter Ko and Azanda, who step into the middle of this mess trying to hold the family together while everything threatens to fall apart around them. I have to say, I am here for this. Ko has grown so much as a character, and seeing her take charge in a crisis, trying to be the calm, capable presence her family desperately needs, is honestly one of the more satisfying arcs this season. Azanda stepping up alongside her also says a lot about where his character is heading, especially after everything with the homecoming and the family drama that came with it. These two working together to try and stabilize the situation gives us a glimmer of hope in an otherwise dark episode, and I think the show needed that balance, because if everyone was falling apart at once it would start to feel exhausting rather than emotionally earned. But let's get to the question that is actually in the title of this video, because I know that is why a lot of you clicked. Is this the end for Zoleka and Lazarus? Their marriage has been under strain for a while now, and if we are honest with ourselves, some of the cracks were showing long before this latest crisis. There was already tension building around trust and equality in their relationship, that sense that decisions were being made unilaterally instead of as partners. Lazarus has shown flashes of jealousy that go beyond a healthy concern for his family, and Zoleka has had to keep proving herself, keep managing everyone else's emotions, while quietly wondering whether her own needs are being seen at all. A crisis like this one, involving a baby in danger, does not create new problems in a marriage so much as it puts a magnifying glass on the ones that already existed. When couples are under this kind of pressure, you tend to see exactly who they are underneath the everyday routine, and what we are seeing right now with Zoleka and Lazarus is two people who love each other but who are struggling to actually be a team when it matters most. I do not think the show is going to give us a clean divorce storyline overnight. That is not really how Inimba operates. This series loves to draw things out, to make you sit in the discomfort before offering any resolution. But I would not be surprised if we are heading toward a serious separation, or at the very least a trial period where Zoleka and Lazarus have to figure out, away from each other, whether this marriage is something they both actually want to fight for. And honestly, that might be the healthier storyline for both characters. Sometimes the most respectful thing a show can do with two people who love each other is let them fall apart properly instead of forcing a fake reconciliation just because the audience wants a happy ending. Let's also take a moment to talk about Nomfandiso, because she has clearly appointed herself the family's last line of defense when it comes to saving this marriage. I respect the loyalty, I do. But I also think there is a real question here about whether outside intervention, no matter how well-meaning, can actually fix a relationship that the two people inside it are not ready to fix themselves. Nomfandiso refusing to give up is sweet in theory, but marriages are not saved by sheer stubbornness from people on the outside. At some point, Zoleka and Lazarus have to want this for themselves, and right now I am genuinely not sure that they do, not in the way they used to. Now, I want to talk about the baby storyline a little more carefully, because this is obviously the most serious and sensitive part of the episode. Inimba has never shied away from difficult, uncomfortable topics, and putting an infant at the center of a danger storyline is about as high stakes as television gets. What I appreciate is that the show seems to be using this moment to explore something bigger than just a shocking plot twist. It is holding up a mirror to how families fail new mothers when they do not build real support systems around them. Zethu is not a cartoon villain, she is a young mother who has been isolated, judged, and left to cope with more than any one person should have to carry alone. That does not excuse dangerous choices, and the show is clear about that too, but it does explain how someone gets to a breaking point in the first place. I think that nuance is worth acknowledging, especially because there are real families going through versions of this every single day, and stories like this one can open up conversations that are genuinely hard to start otherwise. Let's shift gears for a second and talk predictions, because you know I love speculating with you all in the comments. Based on where the story is heading, I would not be shocked if the fallout from this incident becomes the catalyst that finally forces Tamika's hand regarding custody. We have seen hints of this building for a while, the idea that she believes Zethu is not currently equipped to safely raise this child, and a moment like the one we just witnessed gives her exactly the ammunition she has been waiting for. If that happens, expect an absolutely explosive custody battle that pulls in every single member of this extended family, because nobody in the Mabandla orbit does anything quietly. As for Zoleka and Lazarus specifically, my honest prediction is that we are heading toward a slow burn separation rather than an instant, dramatic divorce announcement. I think the show wants us to watch these two circle each other for a while, neither one fully able to walk away, neither one fully able to fix what is broken. That kind of tension is often more compelling than a quick clean break, because it forces both characters, and us as the audience, to keep asking whether love is actually enough when trust has been damaged this badly. I also want to give a quick shout out to the performances this week, because the actors are really carrying the emotional weight of this storyline. The rawness in these scenes does not happen by accident, and it is a good reminder of just how strong this cast is when the material gives them room to actually act rather than just deliver exposition. Before I wrap up, I want to hear from you, because this is exactly the kind of episode that splits an audience right down the middle. Do you think Zoleka and Lazarus can actually recover from this, or has too much damage already been done? Is Tamika right to push as hard as she is pushing, or is she making an already fragile situation even worse? And where do you think this baby storyline is heading next? Drop your predictions in the comments, because I read every single one, and honestly some of you have called plot twists on this show before they even happened, so I want to know what you are seeing coming. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because Inimba is not slowing down anytime soon, and neither are we. Like this video if you are just as invested in this family's chaos as I am, and share it with your fellow Inimba fans who need to be caught up before tomorrow's episode drops. Thank you so much for watching, take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one.